I started recording and didn't even know I was recording, so it recorded a blank 2 minutes. Hi! Sorry it took so long to get back. Life got in the way again. That happens all the time. Anywho, I felt inspired to do a series about the 7 deadly sins. And suddenly, in my car driving, and that's why I posted that last video, and I had intended to follow through, I for some reason just have been thinking a lot about this topic, which is kind of funny because there'd be absolutely no reason for me to be thinking of that other than the fact that I think Spirit wants me to talk about it. So I've come back around to it, and I like to talk about the subject of lust today. Lust. You know, when you hear the word lust, don't you just think like sex? Like, I do anyway. Actually, I get the image of that cute guy. He was on the Game of Thrones. Aquaman. Jason. I don't know his name, but he has that chest. You know what I'm talking about. That's what I think of as lust. So I thought, all right, let me think, what is lust? If we're going to talk about this, I best know what I'm talking about. So I looked it up, and if you just look it up in the dictionary, it's just listed as a very strong sexual desire. And then their example is, he knew that his lust for her had returned. So silly. A very strong sexual desire. So why would a very strong sexual desire be a sin? Because it's called the 7 deadly sins. So if you're just looking at this first topic, lust, as a sin, and its description is a very strong sexual desire, it's saying that sexual desire is a sin. And I completely and strongly disagree with that. And I think that most people would. I mean, you can't get more natural than having sex. That's how we reproduce as a species. Plus, it's, done right, it's quite enjoyable for both parties. It's supposed to be. So I don't think that that is true. I know that's not true. A very strong sexual desire is not a sin. So I thought, all right, let me look more. I really liked Wikipedia, just their first paragraph. Lust is a psychological force producing intense desire for something, which is what we agreed upon already, that lust is desire, right? But it goes on to say, or a circumstance while already having a significant amount of the desired object. So that, to me, that sentence suggests evil starts creeping in when it becomes like obsessive. Okay. Lust can take any form, such as the lust for sexuality, money, or power. It can take such mundane forms as the lust for food. See gluttony. We'll talk about that later. As a distinct form, the need for food or lust or redolence. See, are we confused? I'm confused, okay? So that's not enough for me either. So I think I just like to, instead of taking the dictionary ideas, I'm just going to take the ideas that are in my brain about the topic of lust, and I'm going to throw them out there and see what you guys think. All right. Desire. That's the one that's not evil. That's the one that's not a sin. You can desire something, it's only natural to have a desire for someone or something, because that's what is the initiator, right? The feeling of desire is the thing that kind of is a strong, woo, I want more of that kind of feeling, and it really kind of leads you. And that's good because it's a motivator. But lust, a psychological force producing intense desire for something. Yeah. Okay, so I think lust is the twisted version of desire. I think that sex is a gift from God. I think that sex is as natural as breathing. I think that it is okay and beautiful and godly to be sexual as a woman or a man. It's your right as a human being. Natural law, that's something I want to talk about. I learned about it when I was reading through these pages, and I think we'll happen upon it. So don't let me forget natural law, because what that talks about, I have the definition up there, but it's just talking about basic human rights. Like, I know we're deviating here, but it will come back, I promise. Natural law, it's an understanding as people, any people, all people. It's your basic understanding. It's a right as a human being. You know, people have a right to be treated. Their body is sovereign because their body is sovereign. They have a right to food. They have a right to water. They have a right to live. And that's just basically understood by everyone that's alive, right? So, desire, I think, falls under natural law. We as human beings, we have a right to it. It's one of the zesty, zingy things that make life worth living, that make life beautiful. You know? But when we look at it as a sin, one of the 7 deadly sins, it says here lust, and then the cure for lust is self-control and chastity. You know, really? Because, okay, that chastity bit, okay, I meant to talk about this. Sorry, I got right to the topic of lust because I was nervous to start yakking, but now I'm fine. So let me go back for a sec before we go forward. The 7 deadly sins. I also looked into that because I did not know this. I really didn't. I did not know that the 7 deadly sins, they were not in the Bible. This is not, the 7 deadly sins are not sins handed to us like the 10 Commandments, okay? Actually, it was a Christian monk. Here, I wrote it down. Evagrius Ponticus. It's a long time ago. What was it? It was the 4th century. So in the 400s, there was a monk. He was a Christian monk, and he came up with the 7 deadly sins. That's how they came about. And the reason that he made up this list was so that he could present this list in a teaching to the other monks about things that can lead them astray from going the path of God or righteousness. So the list he came up with, of course, is lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride. Those are the 7 deadly sins. They eventually came to be, I should say, because he had a different list. There was this whole thing. His students brought it to the Western world. And then Pope Gregory, he removed, I'm looking at my notes. He removed sloth, and then he added envy. But anyway, so everybody had a hand in it, but it wasn't directly to us. It wasn't the word of God, the 7 deadly sins. But these sins are all mentioned in the Bible. So, I mean, they are legit sins, but I want to get, I guess, to the nitty-gritty about why they're sins. Because You know, I just have a problem with it when man decides what a sin is because they're not God. So, I look at the Bible as the Word of God and with a hand of man. So it's skewed. I'm sorry. Except for the Ten Commandments. I mean, that's pretty clear. You know? But stories get messed up because people are people. I mean, have you ever told a story? Sorry, I just want to close my doors here. You guys ever told a story to someone and then come to find out that they told that story to somebody else, and then you go talk to that somebody else that they told the story to, and the story they heard was not the story that you told? Okay? Whenever men get involved, people, not just like the male species. I'm talking about men, women, people, human beings. When human beings get involved, we are flawed people, okay? We are flawed. It's not our fault. It's how we are born. And our perception really is our reality. So everyone has a different perception of things in life. So naturally, the way they hear a story is going to be skewed by their own experience. Oh, my grandchild's here. Okay, I'm going to stop here, but I want to continue. So thanks for listening. I know we just got started, and hopefully you won't even notice it because I'll figure out how to edit. Okay, thanks. Talk to you in a bit.